العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا وحبيبنا نبينا محمد المبعوث رحمة للعالمين وعلى آله الأطهار وأصحابه الأخيار ومن سن بسنته واهتدى بهديه إلى يوم الدين. Respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, I'm going to talk about the concept of justice in Islam, following on from this theme of this conference. And as you may have already heard, that the concept of justice, al-adala or al-adl, in Islam is a very well established principle. It is established principle because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the creator of the universe, He is established His creation on the justice, which is al-adl, or the other word in the Arabic language is al-qist, the establishment of the correct balance. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, شهد الله أنه لا إله إلا هو والملائكة وأولو العلم قائما بالقسط. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala witnesses that there is no God except Him, and the angels witness this, and the people of knowledge witness that this is the reality. قائما بالقسط. He has established this all on justice. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is al-adl, He is the just, and He has established the whole of creation in the heavens and the earth based on justice. And in the contrary, He has made what is opposite to justice, which is ghulm, wrongdoing, placing things which are not in their position. He has made that haram and unacceptable, because it goes against the principle of justice. And that's why in the hadith al-Qudsi, as narrated by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ya ibadi, inni haramtu dhulma ala nafsi, wa ja'altuhu baynakum muharraman fala tadhalamu. Allah said, O my slaves, I have made dhulm, which is the opposite of justice. I have made it haram on myself, and I have made it amongst you as haram. So don't wrong one another. So you can see from these two fundamentals that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained the importance of justice, and He has forbidden and prohibited the opposite, which is al-dhulm, also that the people can understand the importance of adl, that the whole world should be constructed on adl, on justice, on qist, establishing the balance. And we have many verses in the Quran. I'm sure you have heard many of them up to now. I will not repeat many of them. We have like Surah Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kunu qawwamina lillah shuhada'a bil qist ya wa la yajrimannakum shana'anu qawmin ala la ta'dilu. Do not let the enmity of other people prevent you from adl, from qist. The saying of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, قُلِ الْحَقَّ وَلَوْ كَانَ مُرًّا. You should speak the truth even if it may be bitter or sour, and many other. But today I just want to ponder and reflect upon the verse which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Hadid, where He said, لَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا رُسُلَنَا بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we have sent our messengers with the clear signs. What are the clear signs for? The clear signs are to show people, to point them towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا رُسُلَنَا بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ وَأَنزَلْنَا مَعَهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْمِيزَانَ لِيَقُومَ النَّاسُ بِالْقِسْطِ. And we sent with them, with the messengers, who are the link between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His creation. They are the people who convey the message of Allah to the people. He has sent with them Al-Kitab and Al-Mizan. So the two things which are the important reality, لِيَقُومَ النَّاسُ بِالْقِسْطِ, so that people will establish justice. So to establish justice, we have to have two things. One is the Kitab, which is the teachings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran and in the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And secondly, He sent down the Mizan, which is the law of justice, to establish the law. So with these two things, Al-Kitab and the Mizan, Allah has sent them down so that people will establish justice. So what is Al-Kitab? What's the meaning of Al-Kitab? Al-Kitab means the rules, the teachings, the ahkam. Because essentially Islam targets and tries to control or to make people, society, organize society with two ways. One is with teaching, talking to your heart, talking to your mind, letting you understand that what is haram because it is haram for a reason. What is halal for a reason. It's for the benefit of society. It's for benefit of you. لَنْ يَنَالَ اللَّهَ لُحُومُهَا وَلَا دِمَاؤُهَا. Allah does not need, when you slaughter the animal, Allah does not need, He's not need of the blood or the flesh. Allah does not eat. He doesn't need the rizq. Doesn't need food. So when you are slaughtering according to the law of Allah, you're not doing it because Allah will get anything material from it. But it is for your benefit. It is for your benefit when you do the halal, when you eat halal, it is for your benefit. SubhanAllah, today even with the halal meat issue, they have shown through scientific studies that the meat that is not slaughtered halal, that people who eat the meat which is strangled, because when you slaughter, the ideal slaughter is to get all the blood out of the animal, and this allows the animal to become more healthier, less likely to be attacked by bacteria and get infections. But when the meat is not slaughtered, they said that people who consume not halal meat, they are more likely to get things like arthritis and diseases which are related to that. And the animal, the meat is more likely to be of a poorer quality, because the blood is a very good source for bacteria. So Allah is telling you that this kitab, when Allah is talking with the kitab, with the Quran, He is appealing to you to understand that all that is halal, all that is made obligatory on you is for your benefit. And what is made haram is for which will harm you. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He described the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, He said, وَيُحِلُّ لَهُمُ الطَّيِّبَاتِ وَيُحَرِّمُ عَلَيْهِمُ الْخَبَائِثِ. He makes that which is good for them halal, and that which is bad for them haram. So we have this principle in Islam. So Islam talks to you with the kitab, the Quran. Maybe you will understand لَعَلَّهُمْ وَلَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَّقُونَ. Maybe they will, with their mind and their heart, they will understand the teachings and they will stop. When Allah says don't steal, don't kill, don't commit zina, don't lie, don't backbite, the rational-minded person will say, this Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling me this, so I don't do it. And then there's another group of people who, even though they are Muslims, even though they believe in Allah, even though they do salah, but sometimes their nafs is weak. And the shaitan also whispers to them. So even though Allah tells them this is haram, don't do this, unacceptable, the punishment of Allah, but even then, they do it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent down laws and ahkam, which for those people who are not restricted by the Quran, they will be restricted by the sultan, by the authority. If you steal, you have a punishment in Islam. If you kill, you have a punishment in Islam. If you commit zina, if you swear and accuse somebody of zina as well, there's a punishment in Islam. If you drink alcohol, punishment in Islam, because you don't want to accept the teaching of Allah, sometimes you have to have the law has to make you stop there, so that you don't do the harm. And that's why Uthman radiallahu anhu, he said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَزَعُ. This sultan مَا لَا يَزَعُ بِالْقُرْآنِ, that Allah will cause with the sultan, with the authority, prevent people from doing haram, because they know that there is a punishment in Islam. If you steal, you will get your hand chopped off. So automatically the thief, you say, what's more important for me? Is it to steal or more important my hand? You will think not twice, you will think 100 times before he steals. Whereas here in this society and most Western society who have they have left the teachings of capital punishment because they thought that this is better for us. There is more theft. People steal because they want to go in prison. In fact, yesterday on the radio, there was somebody, a policeman, who was saying on the radio, he was saying that we have noticed that there are more people, especially now, Christmas time, people will steal. They will commit small crimes. Why? So that they can go to prison. Because they don't have, maybe they don't have family, they don't have any food, whatever, or that they're on they do the crime so that they can go to prison and enjoy prison. Prison becomes a luxury. You go to prison, you have your nice bed, you have your television, you can have your games as well, your PlayStation, and whatever. Take that all with you, and the prison is like a holiday. So it doesn't prevent people from committing the crime. And in fact, people go to the crime, they commit the crime, and then they come out and they re-offend again. So prison does not work for them. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because He is the just, He has the ilm, He knows society. He knows how people work, He knows how the mind thinks, because He created you. He created your aql, He knows how you think. He knows that you steal, your right hand is chopped off. You're not going to do it. Well, you're not going to do it again, mostly. But you won't do it in the first place, because you're going to think about it. That's why, throughout Islamic history, only a few hands were chopped off. Very few in number. Because the Muslim who understands, who when Allah says don't steal, and he still wants to think about stealing, he's unaware of Allah's watching at that time, he will think about the punishment. And he will stop from stealing. So this is the two things that Allah talks to you. Either He talks to you with the Quran, the ahkam, the laws, He tries to teach you through your heart to understand, which is what Allah refers to as kitab. وَأَنزَلْنَا مَعَهُمُ الْكِتَابِ, the teachings, the rules, the sunnah, the hadith. Do this, don't do this, keep away from this. This is good for you. And He brought down al-mizan. Al-mizan is the law of justice. The ahkam, the sharia, the penalties, the punishment, the sultan. This is the two ways that people will then come and abide by established justice. And that's why even if you look at the khutbah of the Prophet ﷺ, when he used to do khutbah on the minbar, his sunnah is to hold in his left hand, he used to hold a stick when he used to do khutbah. Or sometimes he would hold a sword, a sword, and lean on the sword. Or a bow, the bow with arrow, house. He would do that. And the ulama, they said, this is to emphasize this point that I mentioned to you here. That at the same time the Prophet is giving you khutbah, he is talking to you with the Quran, with the kitab. He's also saying to you, if these words don't stop you, then the sword is there. And the stick is there. Because some people, the words are not enough for them. So the Quran, if it's not enough for you to stop you, then there's the stick that will stop you if you do something wrong. And that's why they have the stick, and to emphasize this meaning. Al-Kitab wal-Mizan. Why? لِيَقُومَ النَّاسِ بِالْقِسْطِ, so that people will establish justice. When somebody kills in the society, and Islam says that he has to be killed if the family do not pardon him, because in Islam, if one person X kills Y, then there's three ways that the family of Y can deal with X. They have three ways. Either they can say he must be killed because he has killed our son or our brother or whatever, he must be killed. And nafsu bi nafs. Life for a life. Or the second way is that they say, no, we don't want him to be killed, but he should pay us the compensation, what's known as the blood money, compensation for killing. And in Islam, there is a set amount of money to be paid. Or the third option is that they may pardon him. They say, "Khalas, we forgive him." And when he's forgiven, that's it. He doesn't go to jail. Nothing is done to him. He's left and he goes. So in Islam, there are three options. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made this ruling so that people will understand that there is good for society. Now somebody might say, okay, which is what the West here, they say to you, they'll say, if this person has killed, why should we kill him? We shouldn't kill him, just give him life imprisonment. You know, because why should we kill somebody else? But what Allah says, He said, وَلَكُمْ فِي الْقِصَاصِ حَيَاةٌ يَا أُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. See, in this killing the murderer, there is hayat, there is life. Somebody say, how can there be life? You are killing the man, how is he giving him life? No, hayat for society. Because with killing the murderer, the rest of society lives. Because if you don't, what happens is crime spreads. And people, they say, oh, I'll kill, I go to prison for 20 years and I can come out again. And it happens and people do it. But when somebody knows that he is likely to be killed for his punishment, then he will stop. Most people will stop. They'll say, no, I won't do this. So that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, أنزلنا معهم الكتاب والميزان ليقوم الناس بالقسط. So we said, what is the kitab? Al-kitab, we said, is the teachings of Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So with the teachings of Allah and His Messenger, people should come to realize the importance of justice, the importance of adl, the importance of to be fair. And by doing this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger have taught us some principles to be fair. Like you should not be arrogant. Tahrim al-kibr. Because when you are arrogant, that's being unjust. It's being a wrongdoer, it's being zalim. Just to be arrogant, just to show off, just to put your nose in the air or your cheek to the people as if you are better than them. To wear arrogant clothes, to show off to the people. This Islam has prevented this with the kitab, so that people, it's better to feel justice. Because when you feel that you are better than others, you feel that you deserve more than others. You should be treated differently. I am better than you. Who are you? As Iblis said, أنا خير منه. I'm better than him. Why should I trust him? Because this absence of or the presence of arrogance removes the fairness, the look at the justice. So Islam did the tahrim. Time is not enough to speak about all the ahadith and the verses of the Quran which prevent arrogance. There is no racial discrimination in Islam. It is haram. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لا فضل لعربي على أعجمي ولا أعجمي على عربي ولا أسود على أبيض ولا أبيض على أسود إلا بالتقوى. There is no virtue, there is no preference for someone who can speak Arabic to someone who cannot speak Arabic, someone who doesn't speak Arabic or an Arab, the black or the white or the black. There's no preference for either except with taqwa. And where is taqwa? Where is the place of taqwa? It's the heart. قال التقوى ها هنا. This is where heart. So I can't say to somebody, look, I have more taqwa, so I have more preference over you, because I have more taqwa. No, how do we know you have more taqwa? Taqwa is not how long your beard is, or the kind of clothes, or how big your imama is. This is not the measurement of taqwa. The taqwa is here, as the Prophet said. Taqwa ha huna. Here is taqwa. So nobody can therefore say, I deserve more because I have more taqwa. But with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah knows who has taqwa. Allah knows who fears Him more. Allah knows who has piety. So that measurement of who is better is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not for us to judge. And nobody is better because how much money they have. Nobody is better because what kind of clothes they wear, what kind of letters they have after their name. MSc, BDS, PhD, ABC, JFK, whatever. These letters don't make you better than other people. So that's why Islam prevented this, so that to establish justice. When people don't practice that, they will then realize, or there will be a premise for injustice and corruption. There is no tribal discrimination in Islam. No tribe is better than any tribe in Islam. And that's why something like this is too high. There is no preference, no tribe is better than another tribe. And even when the Prophet ﷺ was in Medina and the Muhajirun, there was an argument that was going to be developing between the Muhajirun and the Ansar, because one of the Muhajirun had an argument with one of the Ansar, and it's the volume, I think it's a bit too loud.
What's that there?
What's this one for? Huh? Yeah, you can turn this one off. Don't need to turn it off. Or is this one, that one, they're both listening downstairs, isn't it? I think. Huh? This will be listening downstairs. Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's right. Okay, so when one of the Muhajirun people, he argued with one of the Ansar, and because there was this argument, then they wanted to use that as a reason for causing a division. So the Ansar, he said, Ya lil Ansar, where are you Ansar, come and help me. And the Muhajirun said, Ya lil Muhajirin, come and help me. So they came and they wanted to argue. The Prophet ﷺ came out quickly, grabbing his clothes and not even have time to fully dress. He said, أَدَعْوَ الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ وَأَنَا بَيْنَ ظَهْرَانِيكُمْ. You are calling to this call of Jahiliyyah, ignorance, for each person to say, look, I am better than you because of my tribe, I'm from the Muhajirin, I'm from the Ansar, I'm from Al-Aws, I'm from Khazraj. Not accepted. There's no virtue for either over either. So all these things allow us to understand that Islam gave us the principles, the Kitab, the Quran, to teach us about how to be just. Islam teaches you as an individual with the ahkam how to be just with yourself, even with yourself. The Prophet ﷺ in a hadith, he said, نَهَا أَنْ يَنْتَعِلَ الرَّجُلُ بِنَعْلٍ وَاحِدٍ. The Prophet ﷺ, he forbade that a person just wear one shoe or one sandal. And in the past, people didn't have lots of clothes, and it was very, very scarce, very rare, very expensive. So sometimes one person, maybe one sandal, it breaks, it tears, whatever, so he has just one sandal left. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, when you only have one sandal, you should not walk in one sandal. Either you wear two sandals, or you walk barefooted without sandals. But don't walk in one sandal. The ulama, they said, this is to teach the human, the person, how to be just with his feet. To be adil with his feet. Because you shouldn't give a preference for one foot over the other. Even when you are walking, don't give one foot the benefit of having a sandal and the other foot not having a sandal. See how Islam teaches you, even with your feet, to be just. So what about bigger things? If a person starts to think about his justice with the feet, then he can be just with other things. And in this regards, they say that they narrate the story with Gandhi. They said that Gandhi, when he was once running to catch the train. In India they have these fast-moving trains, and everyone is running to get on the train. So he was running to get the train. As he was running, one of his sandals fell. on the ground, and he got on the train. As he got on the train, and one of the shoes, one of the sandals fell on the ground, and the train is moving. So he can't get off to get his sandal. So what he did, he took his other sandal off, and he threw it next to the sandal that fell on the ground. So they said, why did you do that? What's the reason? He said, because the sandal that I have is not going to be beneficial to me. And that one by itself, not beneficial. So at least, if somebody finds these two pairs, they can benefit from them. So he's thinking how benefit others. At least both sandals will be benefit to somebody, rather than one sandal will be not benefit to other people. And this is like thinking positively and thinking how to benefit others. Being just with your children, Islam teaches. When one of the Sahaba, Al-Nu'man, he came to the Prophet ﷺ, he said, O Messenger of Allah, I want you to witness, I have given one of my children, I have given him a present, and I want you to witness this. So the Prophet ﷺ said, did you give present to all your children? The same present to all your children? He said, no, I didn't. He said, أشهد غيري فإني لا أشهد على الزور. Go and find someone else to witness, because I will not witness to this false practice. If you want your children to be all good to you, you must be just to all your children. Give them all equally. Don't give preference to one child over another. Again, teaching justice with the children. Be just with your life when you divide your life. We have the hadith of Salman alayhi salam when he visited Abu Dhar in his house. And when he visited Abu Dhar had they made a meal for Salman and presented it. Salman started to eat, but Abu Dhar was not eating. Sorry, not Abu Dhar, Abu Darda. He was not eating with him. So he said, why don't you eat? He said, I am fasting. He said, no, you must eat with me. So Abu Darda, he broke his fast and he ate with Salman. And then in the night, Salman was sleeping there in the guest, and the night he saw Abu Darda get up in the night and he was praying most of the night. So in the next morning, and he saw his wife, the wife of Abu Darda, she was wearing she wasn't well presented. She wasn't looking after her. So he said to her, what's wrong? Why don't you look after yourself and present yourself well to your husband? He said, no, Abu Darda, he has no longer interest in marriage. And so then Abu Salman, he sat down with Abu Darda and he said to him, Inna li rabbika alayka haqqa. Your Lord has a right over you. وَإِنَّ لِنَفْسِكَ عَلَيْكَ حَقًّا. And yourself has a right over you. وَإِنَّ لِزَوْجِكَ عَلَيْكَ حَقًّا. وَإِنَّ لِزَوْرِكَ زَوْرِكَ يعني ضيفك. وَإِنَّ لِزَوْرِكَ عَلَيْكَ حَقًّا فَآتِ كُلَّ ذِي حَقٍّ حَقًّا. Your Lord has a right over you. Yourself has a right over you, meaning that yourself needs rest, needs food, needs help. Your wife has a right. Your guest has a right. All the people, these have a right. So from the justice is to give each one his right. Then they went to see the Prophet ﷺ, and they told him what Salman had said. So the Prophet ﷺ said, Sadaqa Salman. Salman has spoken the truth. This is right. These words of wisdom. Sadaqa Salman. So again, you see how Islam teaches the justice with this practice. You have to have, justice to your wife and yourself. And if you have more than one wife, you have to be just to your wives. More than one wife, you have to give them the right equal amount of time and equal amount of expenditure. Part of justice as well. So Islam teaches this as well. So this is all the aspect of the kitab, and there's so many teachings through the teachings of the Prophet ﷺ and the Quran, teaching us about elements which make us understand the importance of justice, adl, being fair, so that the person with all these teachings, he has the teachings and the guidance to be just and not to do anything wrong. So this is al-kitab. وَأَنزَلْنَا مَعَهُمُ الْكِتَابِ. And the other part is أَنزَلْنَا مَعَهُمُ الْمِيزَانِ. Al-mizan, we said, is the law, the rule of law, that people establish the ahkam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has established ahkam to make sure that people have justice. Now, a lot of the time, the nature of the human, as the ulama say, they say, الأصل في حقوق العباد أو حقوق العباد مبنية على المشاحة. يعني the people, the rights between people with one another usually is related to stinginess. يعني each one wants his right. والأصل في حقوق الله أو حقوق الله مبنية على المسامحة. That with regards to the rights of Allah is built on forgiving. So when there is, who should take this, then Allah is forgiving. But when it's between, the right of the people, it's built on each person wanting his right. And that's why Islam did not prevent people from claiming their right, their right. If you have your right, Islam gives you the right to justice. وَجَزَاءُ سَيِّئَةٍ سَيِّئَةٌ مِثْلُهَا. If somebody wrongs you, yani somebody does something bad to you, in the Islamic law, you have the right to retaliate within the guidance of the Sharia. If somebody abuses you, you have the right within the Sharia not to abuse them but to get your right back. And so Islam has. Oh, I still need another. If Islam has given you this right, at the same time it said you can forgive. وَإِن تَعْفُوا وَتَصْفَحُوا فَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. If you forgive, that's better for you. And you turn the blind eye, or then you forgive. But if you want your right, you have your right. So when we have these concepts, Allah has put the whole framework of the Sharia is there to prevent disputes. How we can base our ahkam, make it so clear so that there's no disputes. So we have, for example, the concepts of contracts. Islam, very important, the contract. That when you see, like for example, I have this, water. Not water, sorry, let me give you another example. If I have a television, and I said to Abdul Aziz, take my television, you can have my television. And Abdul Aziz took my television. And then I said to Abdul Aziz, 1 month later, can I have my television back? And he said, no, you told me to take my television. I said, no, I'm going to take it to borrow it. You must give it back to me now. You see here, when we come to the ulama, they said, even when you deal with people in this, it has to be clear. This word, take my television, is not acceptable in the Sharia. خذ هذا التلفزيون, it doesn't accept it. Either وهبتك, I give you my television as a gift. That's clear. He knows. Take my television as to borrow. That's clear. I sell you my television for £100. That's clear. But for me just to say take my television, he takes it, and then I come back 1 month later, and this way you have the problems. You see. So you have problems. You say you told me to take it, and I took it, and now I have, and it was broken. I have repaired it. And it cost me £50, and you say, no, you give it back to me, and there's problems here. So from the beginning, the Sharia has made the ahkam that when you do agree, when you do contracts, when you deal with each other, make it clear. The contract should be clear. The wording should be clear. Don't just, even our Sada Shafi'iyya, they said that even with buying, today lots of people buy, they go to the supermarket, they put the supermarket said £1, he gives £1, takes it, and then goes. And that's the buying. They say this is, when they become a little bit strict, they say this is not really acceptable practice. Because you haven't even said anything, you just put the water there, give them the money. And really what should happen Islamically, as they talk about, they said you should say, اشتريت منك هذا, I will buy this from you for £1, and you will say, I accept. And you give him the £1, you take it, it's clear. Because there is always potential for dispute. I mean, nowadays, I know there's sometimes these small issues, but whenever there is potential for dispute, the Sharia wants to remove that because part of justice to avoid conflict. Most people who kill, they kill because of a conflict. There is a reason. They are upset, somebody has angered them. Like this, deal with Abdul Aziz, he doesn't give me my television, I get angry at him, I might hit him, he might hit me, or somebody will kill the other. Because it's not clear. If it was clear, alhamdulillah, no problems. We solve the problem. Also in terms of marriage, marriage is clear, it's a contract. And that's why, even when you do the marriage, it's clear, the conditions are clear, the mahar should be clear, so that there is no conflict after marriage. There is no potential for dispute. And even if there is potential for dispute, the talaq, divorce, is a solution to the problem. Not a problem. Some people now, a lot of us make divorce a problem. But really, divorce is a solution to a problem. Two people can't live together. That's it, they can't get on, they want to divorce, that's it, they go their each way, everything is fine. But nowadays they can't live each other, they make the divorce, then they start to have more problems, then the families have problems, then the tribes have problems, and people was killing each other because talaq is a solution to solve the problem, not a problem in itself. Islam has made ahkam to prevent exploitation. Things like riba. Haram, riba is haram. Why? Because when there is riba, there is injustice. People, you see all this, the world now is very, it's on the border, on the edge of dropping. And really, when we look at what's happening in Europe and happening in America and happening where there is financial crisis. Why? It's all based on riba. Because what happens is somebody has a debt and they this debt here, £100. This is what I borrowed, £100 from somebody. Now the guy says, okay, I will now sell this debt to somebody else for £50. That guy says, yeah, £200, and this price has, and it is continuously just making money from riba. So Islam prevented that, to prevent conflict, to prevent disaster, injustice. The rich person, he is rich, getting money. Britain continuously just paying interest in the debt. And there are people who have the money, they are just making money. Sitting, just take money, and counting the money. And poor people getting poorer and poorer. So Islam prevented that. This is part of the rules of Islam to prevent exploitation. لِيَقُومَ النَّاسِ بِالْقِسْطِ. And on the other side, it recommended that you give sadaqah, charity, that you give loan, qard hasan, help people, be generous, buying and selling, trading, let the money work, not just become rich out of your own money. People who commit zina as well, why is there such a severe punishment for zina? Because again, zina is the potential for so much injustice in society. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا إِنَّهُ كَانَ فَاحِشَةً وَسَاءَ سَبِيلًا. Yani the zina will lead you down a very bad road, which will destroy society. And this is today when we talk about the absence of justice today, we see with this absence of marital values. Islam made marriage such easy. We have made it difficult. As Muslims, we have made marriage difficult. You have to get married, you have to have 10,000 or 100,000 pounds mahar, you have to have a house, you have to have... Whereas Islam, marriage is very simple. زوجتك ابنتي, قبلت, he takes, have a small meal, that's it. Marriage is there, it doesn't have to be complicated, And that's why when they had very easy marriage, people used to get married at young age, they life is, and not to have zina where the children don't know who their father is. And when they don't know who their father is, there's broken homes. And when there's broken homes, there's gang culture. Because the child says, oh, I don't have a role figure, no father to look after me, so he turns to the gang because the gang is his family. And then the gangs turn into riots and there is mischief in the land. This is goes back to zina, sa'a sabila. So you can see how Islam made this to prevent this kind of problem. And finally, I know Brother Abdulaziz is getting a little bit agitated at the time. He said that part of establishing justice is knowing your responsibilities and knowing your rights. What are your rights? What are your duties? Because when you know this, you can establish the justice, and this is all goes within ilm. You see, ilm. If you don't have, lots of people today make mistakes, their contracts. They go and do contracts, they buy, they sell, interest-free credit cards, whatever this, and then they come and say, is this halal or is this haram? They've done their thing, everything, they've committed their act, they finished it, and then, by the way, is this halal or is this haram? You know, the other day I ate something which contained this ingredient. Is that halal or haram? You've already eaten it and it's come out the other side, and you are asking now, is it halal or is it haram? This is the wrong attitude. The correct attitude is ask. Before you do it, learn, تعلم. As Ali radiallahu anhu he said, لا يبيع في سوقنا من لا يعرف الحلال والحرام. You should not buy in our trade, in our market, the one who does not know the halal and haram, because otherwise you will fall into riba, you will commit haram, you will sell something in a wrong way, in an incorrect practice. And when there is bad practice, there is argument. When there is argument, there is injustice. And when there is injustice, there is a calamity. So part of solving this problem, and this is a duty for us, a duty for parents, for ourselves and our children, is to spread ilm, knowledge, to learn the ahkam, to learn the rules of the sharia, to learn the fiqh of buying, of selling, of marriage, of divorce, of salah, of siyam, of all these things will make us more understanding. When we have this, inshallah, we can establish justice. How many disputes and arguments and unfairness is related to khamr, alcohol. People arguing once they are drunk, people causing accidents, people causing injury, hospital. So the Sharia has prohibited this again for the mizan to establish justice. And when that is absent, again you can see that the consequences in front of us, we can see it. You can see the hospitals full of people who have accidents because of fighting and after being drunk. You have people who have, lots of broken up, people go to prison, waste of police time, waste of NHS time, waste of money, waste of resources, broken hands because of khamr. So again, the Sharia has made khamr haram and has made the ahkam to prevent people from drinking khamr. So again, this is all causing this principle of making the Sharia, making it justice for people to live a better life.
I think we don't have questions, and it seems that we have understood everything Sheikh said. And inshallah ta'ala, I hope we're going to implement it and put it into practice, because that's what Islam is about. You learn, you listen, you take the lesson, then you put it into practice. It's not something that you keep into your mind. It's not a theory that you memorize. You learn it, you take it, then you try to put it into practice to the best of your ability. And that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the Quran, and that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent the messengers and the prophets to us to teach us, and then to practice what they taught us, to be closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to win the mercy and the gratitude of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now,